Hey friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla, thanks for joining me, and this is Sassy, my co-worker. She makes me work and whips the chains and makes me get in here and work even though I'm sick. So anyway, I'm very thankful to be here with you guys today, and I thank each and every one of you for being here. It is kind of crazy to think how sick I was on Thursday when I read over what the ER doctor wrote about saying I was in critical condition and all that kind of stuff. I cried. I mean, it was just thinking about how sick I was, but I didn't know I was sick until that very moment. And just, how critical I was and how I was blue and almost didn't make it. I'm very, very thankful to be here. So very thankful. And I'm so very thankful for each and every one of you guys. So, anyway, I just got up and went to the restroom. And I have to pass my desk to go to the restroom. And my tailbone was kind of hurting. And so I was like, Big Daddy's like, come on, let me help you back to your chair and get situated. And I said, you know what? I think I want to just sit at my desk for a little bit. And I said, I don't think I can just go sit back in my chair because my tailbone's hurting. And he's like, okay, you know best. But seriously, my tailbone's hurting. And so I needed to come and just sit down somewhere in a different chair for a little bit. So, my plan was for this month to do a small size Christmas art journal. And so in my head, I was visioning a house-shaped book. Maybe gingerbread house, maybe just a house, I don't know. And I wanted to just do let me just get some paint. Let me get a lot of water out right here. And so I was picturing that, and I was wanting to start that December the 1st. I was going to have it ready and start it Monday, and I'm running behind times, right? So I'm starting it right now. So this is what I'm doing. I have a little house kind of drawn out. This is part of the roof here. And then the house has a point and the front door and a lot of windows on it. So I'm just going to start painting on that. And I'm going to start with yellow in the windows. Because when I paint something, I always start with the lightest color. Just because we know that water is going to get murky as you get that's a little too darker than I wanted, but it'll be okay. The water gets murky the more you use it, and the darker your colors are. So anyway, I'm just putting some color in here in this window. Okay, I'm not sure why my camera keeps cutting off while I'm videoing. I did check and I've deleted everything, so I'm not sure. But we'll just try it again. So anyway, I'm just, going to put some color on paper. So I'm going to be working in an art journal. A Christmas art journal is what my plans are this month. And I'm also going to be doing some Christmas crocheting, some Christmas beading stuff. And so, yeah, I just need to get started. And I'm not going to get started unless I come in here and do it, right? But seriously, guys, I'm just the type of person that I have to be doing something creative. I'm just not going to be happy if I'm sitting there not doing anything. Like, I'll just be bawling my eyes out saying, this is not the life I want. So that's just me, Everybody's not like that. Thank goodness we're all not the same. Thank goodness we all have personalities and different things that make us happy, because it would be boring if we were all the same. But I'm just that person that's got to be doing something with my hands and feeling like I'm being productive, even if that productive stuff doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that I do this in the big scheme of things, But to me, it does. It matters to me. So anyway, I'm doing it. Here I am. Here I am doing it. So my friend Kim is cross-stitching a house that I love. I love it, but I'm not going to cross-stitch, and I don't necessarily want that in cross-stitch, you know. It's very lovely, and it's going to be beautiful when she gets it done. But I can't cross-stitch it, but I think I can paint it. And so it's kind of where I got my inspiration for this. Of course, it won't be exactly like that, but it might be a little bit close. So I love art. I always have. And if you've been here, you know I used to do art. I used to paint and participate in the art crawls in my town and all that kind of stuff. My son Dakota and I both were big into the art community here in Monroe, Louisiana. And so I miss those days. I really do. I miss the community and the interactions with the people and, you know, just doing the art crawls and being involved in what's going on and being asked to display my art at different places. You know, I miss all that. I really do. My life has drastically changed. So, this is what I'm doing now. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of get back into art. Just trying to find something that wasn't so hard on my hands, because crocheting is. Now, I still crochet. I'm still going to be crocheting here on the channel and showing crochet and talking about crochet and all that, because I do love crocheting. It's just sometimes, now that I've lost all these fingers, it's hard on me. And not only that, when I stopped crocheting and was doing some beading, I realized how hard that crocheting was on my whole body. It was hurting my arms, my shoulders, my back. It was really taking a toll on me. And I didn't realize how hard that was on me until I took a little break from it and was just doing beading. So anyway, you know, I would like get that in water. So anyway, I used to paint and do a lot of art stuff. And then I started losing all these fingers, right? And I still kept it up as long as I could. But when my hand got so bad that I couldn't draw, my hand was just, it was not steady. It still is not steady. I can't hold my paintbrush the best that I can, but I don't have a lot of control. And also, to do detailed work is almost impossible for me. But watercolor is very forgiving. Like working with acrylics, or especially acrylics, was much harder for me. But watercolor is very forgiving. It really doesn't care that much if you mess up. You just kind of let it dry and go over it again with another color or something, and yeah, it works out. Now I'm doing that too much and I'm gonna mess up my paper, but I was trying to lift that out a little bit, and I did. That's what I wanted. It was too dark. I realized they're all too dark. So I'm gonna put a little water on each one. Just try to lift some of that paint off of there, because I did want the center of it very light, and I forgot. I was talking and it got away with me. So anyway, I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things, and I thought making an art journal for the month of December, a Christmas art journal type, and then I kind of want to do a winter one also. And so I'm really excited about it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so what I was going to say about what's different between my art days and today is that back in the day, I could draw, I could paint, I had control over the paintbrush and could do a lot of things. Sometimes they didn't turn out worth the crap. Sometimes they turned out awesome and I was happy with it. But with art, there is no wrong way or right way. Honestly, there's not. Any kind of art is beautiful. And one thing we have to remember is that when we look at art, we're looking at it really up close. And that's not the way art is meant to be viewed. Art is meant to be viewed from a distance. And art is not meant to be perfect. But here's my deal. I just don't have control over a pencil and paintbrush like I used to. And so I can't draw and just take a blank canvas and paint stuff on it like I used to, really, with acrylic paints. So I'm playing with some watercolor and loving it. But anyway, so if you can't draw, which I'm, have issues doing, but you can still create art. So I pulled out my old stencils, and I even ordered some new stencils from Megan Quillen on Etsy. And I have just been waiting to get home and get those stencils and have some fun. And I know this is going to be a lot of fun. So if you can't draw, you can use stencils and you can still create art. It's not cheating. You use a washing machine to wash your clothes. Is that cheating? I hate it when people say, oh, that's cheating. If you use a knitting machine, round knitting machine, they're like, oh, that's cheating. But yet, they use a dishwasher to wash their dishes. Cheater. They use a washing machine and a dryer in their house, but, they use a sewing machine instead of hand sewing it. But if you use a knitting machine, they're going to say, you're cheating. And they don't realize they're cheating too. Anyway, so a stencil, it's not a cheat. It's just a tool. And so I have a lot of stencils, and I have more in my cabinet that I haven't even dug out yet. I did get Elijah to get some stencils out for me, but like here's just a big Christmas tree stencil. To fill that in and decorate it and paint it, and it's still art, even though you use a stencil to create it. It's okay. And I'm not sitting here trying to create something professional. I'm not trying to trick anybody into, I'm not trying to sell my art. I'm just having fun, So relax. I'm just having fun and trying to have a hobby, because I cannot just sit in a chair and not do something. Those hands, what's left of them, it's got to stay busy. So you probably have something that you like to do that keeps you busy. So tell us about it in the comments. Maybe you're diamond painting or crocheting or knitting, or maybe you're sewing, quilting. Whatever it is you're doing, tell us about it in the comments, because I love any kind of craft. I love crafting, and I love reading about and seeing pictures. So post in the Facebook group pictures of your art, craft, whatever it is you're doing. So I wanted to do the inside of the windows a lighter yellow, and then come and do around the edges a darker yellow. And it doesn't have to be exact. It's good. Like I said, I like art that looks like art. I don't like art that looks like it was created in a factory. I'm trying to think of my words. Sorry. Silk screen, I don't know. I just like art that is messy art, okay? I do not expect myself or anyone else to have like pristine lines and stuff. That's not, I mean, it's art, but I don't know, it's not art to me. I like art that looks like it was done by a human, not a robot. That's the kind of art I like. And so I won't be trying to do like straight lines and you know, getting all fussy about edges and stuff. Like if I make a flower and I outline that flower, I might outline that flower like 3 times, but each time I do it, I'm not going to try to trace on the same line I did. It's going to be just slightly off, because that shows something for me. I can't think of my words. I'm the woman who can't think of the words. But it does, you know, it gives it some character and some, makes it look like real art to me. It makes it look like somebody actually was doing it, not a computer. Things done with a computer are pretty too. It's just not my style. Right? Alright. Now, we got all that out of the way. Don't forget to tell me what you're doing in the comments. What's keeping you busy, or what kind of art or craft, or maybe you just like to eat. That's what you do to keep your hands busy. That's fine. Tell us about it. What's your favorite thing to eat? I'm just being silly. Okay. Oh. I am so glad to be home. My animals were very happy to see me, and I was very happy to see them. Trust me, I missed them all, but I tell you what, I think I missed Sassy the most, my black cat, because she spends the most time in my lap. She is always on me, and like right now, she's on the back of my chair. When I go back into the living room, she's going to be right there on my chair. She's going to go with me. And that's just the way she is. She's always on me. And so I'm so used to her being on me that I missed that while I was at the hospital, you know. Since I've been home, okay, really and truly, Big Daddy's like, they sent you home too early. That's true. They did. But insurance plays a big role in that. Insurance always, you know, like they'll allow so many days, and then if they can't prove you're worse or the same, you know. And I improved a lot. Trust me, I improved so much from Thursday until today. I've improved so very much. And insurance says, well, good, you can go home then. And the doctor was like apologetic about it, but you know, it is what it is. They have to put in the codes for the insurance to approve stuff. But I'm taking it easy. I am. I'm not doing anything wild and crazy. I do have to go to the doctor. So that's coming up. Trip to the doctor's office. And I'll be seeing my primary doctor and tell him what's been going on and see what he has to say about everything. And I don't have an appointment until Shreveport until the 16th. I know a lot of people they knew I had a doctor's appointment, but they wasn't sure which one, and they was afraid it was my pain pump doctor and I was going to miss it. And I appreciate your concern, but it's not until the 16th. I love it that y'all all know me so well. I love that. It's not until the 16th. So by the 16th, I'm going to be out there running down the road alongside the car, okay? I'm sitting here with my oxygen tube. And Elijah and Chastity has been here, and let me just say, that has been wonderful. I have loved every minute of that. They have been great. They have really stepped up and just doing for me, and just doing little things that they see that needs to be done. We needed a new toilet seat. I ordered it from Walmart. Elijah went and picked it up and put it on the toilet. I didn't even have to ask him or nothing. I kind of was like, what's he in there doing? And then I figured out, he's in there changing that toilet seat. What a good boy. He is matured and just steps up and sees what needs to be done and does it. And so I'm very, very proud of him. And he and Chastity, like this tubing, you saw my nose a while ago, my nasal thing. So I have this tubing, and it only goes so far. So I was going to have to unhook from that and then hook to my little oxygen tank so I could roll it to the bathroom and all this kind of stuff. Well, Elijah and Chastity put their heads together, and they got 2 extension rolls of this tubing. It's green. Let me see if I have a piece of it right here. Yep. And so they connected these together, and so I can leave the oxygen machine at my chair, and I can come all the way to the bathroom. Yay! And I could go to my bedroom. I haven't yet walked that direction, but it would reach to my bedroom easily if it'll reach all the way in here to the bathroom. And I could go to the laundry room. I can go in every room of my house. Most likely. I don't know about my doll room, my yarn room. Probably. I figure so. But anyway. And I'm glad that's green on the floor so I can see it. The only thing is it does kind of get tangly and catches on stuff, and just having to be easy. Be careful. And I told Big Daddy at night I will try to get that as close to my chair as I can. But the cats will probably play in it during the night. So when he comes through to go to the restroom, he's already put a little lamp. Well, it's a little push button light. He's already put that in there to turn that on as he comes into the living room so he can see the floor. All right, I'm going to try to lift a little bit of this color up. It was this one, I think. Yeah, it was just a little bit darker than I wanted, so I'm going to try to just put a little water on it. No paint, just water. But I don't want to mess my paper up. You know how if you fool with it too much, you'll end up putting a hole in your paper. This is actually poster paper and not watercolor, because this is the front cover of my book. And so I was just thinking, I wanted it to be real sturdy. So that's what I got going so far. So I'm going to paint my house a turquoise blue. What you guys think about that? I love blue, red, and white together, and add some yellow in that. That is just a beautiful colors to me together for like a Christmas scene. So my house is going to be, I believe, turquoise. I'm going to put some water on these blues and test them and see which one it is that I like the best. I can't remember from the last time I used them which one. But anyway, I will be using, in this book, I'll be using like scrapbook paper, bits and bobs of all kinds of stuff. I'll be using stencils, like I said, and some of my stencils did come from Okay, the top one's the one I want. Did come from Megan Quillen. I will tag her YouTube channel. She creates art journals and stencils, and I like her style. She is one that doesn't like, she does fussy cut when she cuts things out, and that's what I'm going to have to be doing, because when I'm cutting something out, I'm right-handed. But of course, I can't cut right-handed. Now, I have these clippers that I used to cut yarn with or whatever, but you can't cut like a straight line and not have the jaggedy, janked up edge, right? So, I have to cut left-handed, and I have this little pinky, and I have a couple of little small scissors like this, and so I'll just be cutting out. My cutting skills have went way down, and I'm going to do fussy cut and not try to cut, like if I was cutting this window out, you would see a little white around it, because I wouldn't cut straight on the line. That's fussy cut. When you see something like that, just telling you in case you don't know. Sometimes there's terms that, you know, if you're not into that hobby, you might not know what that term means. And how would you know if you're not into that hobby? So, anyway, I'm going to put some turquoise on here, and I don't really want it to be dark turquoise. So, I'm just going to... Yeah, that's too dark. Too dark, woman. It's not the color I was wanting. So, I'll try to smear this around as much as I can. And I'm gonna go back and put a lot of details on this, some acrylic paints, probably use some paint pens, and just have fun, right? It's all about having fun. That is what this whole month is going to be about for me, is having fun and enjoying life. Because as someone who just almost lost theirs, and I'm not making that up at all, friends, I'm being very serious. The ER doctor wrote in the comments, in the summary of my visit and all that, how critical, you know, that I was in critical condition upon arriving to the ER. And, you know, he put, you know, about approximately how long it took to get me in stable condition to move me to ICU and all that. So, and then the nurse, that was the ER doctor. And then the doctor who was going to be caring for me once I was moved to the ICU, she came and she said, "You was circling the drain when you got here." So I'm not making that up at all. I mean, I'm just being very honest. It was a close one. And even Big Daddy's like, he's still, you know, I almost lost you. And he's been great in helping me. And but he has his own health issues and his knees, and, you know, so he's having to deal with that too. But we're making it. We are. I didn't give up. He hasn't gave up yet either, so just gonna keep doing what we're doing. Anyway, it's a little too much more paint than I wanted actually over there, so I'm gonna try to just bring some of it over here. I had to add some water and thin that out a little. Watercolor is very forgiving, and even after watercolor dries, say it's been dried a while, you can still come back and add some water to it. and reactivate that that color, you can. So Elijah and Chastity are here, and they will be here until Wednesday night. Elijah said they need to leave at least by about 8, and it's going to be snowing and freezing cold, so they probably need to leave earlier than that because I want him to drive safely. Right? So I am, a bit concerned about that. But they'll be leaving Wednesday night, and I know they gotta go. But I have enjoyed visiting with them. They have just been so helpful in everything they've done. Just figuring out things for me, and, just, oh, you need an extension cord for that. Let me run to Walmart and get you one. Oh, you need that longer. You need that tubing longer. Let's fix that up. Let's get it done, So I've just been so thankful for them. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Of course, we had to share with Chastity's family also, but I've gotten really good visits with them and just hanging out, and I almost feel a little guilty for having them, Oh, no, Sassy. Oh, Sassy. Y'all know Sassy. She's got to get up here and get in the middle of it all. Sassy, you probably don't need to be in the paint. No. No. I'm going to spread that before it gets too dark. It is dark. I want to spread it before it dries. Try to pick up some of that. Anyway. Sassy. Trying to get around the edge of this door. And this is not watercolor paper, it's poster board paper, and so that's one reason why it is not working just the best. And I just have cheap art supplies. Somebody asked me where this came from. I believe it came from Five Below. But you can get watercolor paint at Walmart. You can add it to your grocery list. Walmart, Target, Dollar Tree's even got some. So, yeah, you can find watercolor paint lots of places. And it doesn't have to be expensive watercolors or, any kind of art supplies. It can be cheap. And with the art journal, you can cut up all kinds of stuff to put in an art journal. It doesn't all have to be, it could be more like a junk journal. It doesn't have to be beautiful art, as some people might think. Let me see. It can be cutting up. Let me see, right here I got something. It can be cutting up your snack cake boxes. Big Daddy cut that off for me, and I'm going to be cutting and using things from this. I also have one that is a Christmas tree one. I'm going to be using that in my Christmas art journal. And I'm going to be using some stencils, maybe some stickers, just all kinds of stuff. Whatever I see and think, oh yeah. I don't know that I'm going to write in this art journal. It's mainly just to create. Just some place to create. Let me just get some water and smear that around. Oh, I got too much water. No, I took away too much. But that's okay. That's all point of the play in. I can let that dry and I can give it another go. Now, at times, my nose gets super, super dry. And, it gets so dry, it is painful and bleeding. And then at times, it kind of gets a little runny, so I just have to go with the flow. I'm not going to paint right there for now. I'm going to let that dry because it's very saturated. So Sassy, what are you doing? I am going to hole punch this on the side. Maybe 3 because it's a little taller than I was thinking it was going to be. But to get all these windows and all on here like I wanted, it just had to be this high, this tall. So I'm going to hole punch it, or whether if I can't squeeze it, I'll get that Big Daddy to do it. And then put those ring binders. It's that little circle, a little metal circle that kind of clips together. I already bought those at Dollar Tree. I have some in my art cabinet behind me, and so I know they're there. And this is where the fun comes in, where you can kind of just go back and add little highlights. And that's not quite what I meant to do, what I'm doing, but it was just, I just had to smear it around because it was so dark. It was darker than I really wanted. But I'll probably come back and add in some highlights, because I didn't want it to just be like a smooth, all the same shade of blue. I did want it to kind of, have highlights and such. And I'm going to lift some of this up and bring it over here. I don't know what Big Daddy's back there watching, but there's a dog barking. And I'm surprised Phoebe didn't jump in on that. I think I'm going to hit this with my hair dryer because it's a little too saturated. So I've got my blue and yellow pretty dry. It's dry. So I'm going to add some red on this door. Add a little red here and smear it around. Yeah, there's no telling what's going to end up in this art journal. I know I want to do some trees and do some fun things with tree shapes. when I was in the hospital, my mind was going 90 miles an hour, thinking of all the things to do. Now, it'd have been really nice if I'd made a list, but I didn't have paper to write on and stuff, so there's no list. So hopefully I'll rethink of all those things again. But I just wanted to get some red on here for the door, and I'm happy with that. The door may end up with a wreath on it and some other things, so we may not see all that, but it's good for now. And the roof, I do want brown, but I don't want it too brown. Let me just look at my browns and see. I wonder what color that is, really. I have some brown over here, but then I have some different browns around, so let me see what that is. That's more of a brick red. There's a couple browns here, and that's probably what I'm going for rather than a dark brown. I'm going for more of a mocha, tannish brown, maybe. I think that one's it. Let me see what this one looks like. Get a little water on it. I think that one's going to be a little orangey. And this one is more what I'm looking for, I think. I don't know. I wanted it to kind of look gingerbread, so this might be the best bet. You know, it might be. And I'm not happy about that. I was looking for something a little bit. I do have some Happy Mail to show, so I'll be showing that. I have some that's come in the last couple weeks. Some very awesome things. So just hang with me, and I'll be sharing those with you guys. Let me get my footing back, so to speak, and I think the second one in is what I'm going for. I'm going to put a little more water on it. Although it does have a lot. Just putting a little water on there. And so I'm going to do this roof in this brown. Just kind of smearing that around. It's about the color. Yeah, it's about the color I was thinking of. Get my paintbrush wet, and I got water on my paint there, so thankfully, we've already done like a bulk of our Christmas shopping. I'll be honest, I've gotten Dakota and Carlton to Christmas. Elijah and Chastity, not enough. Yeah, not comparable yet. Plus, Elijah has a birthday. And I wish that I could give him money and tell him to go buy him some clothes, but I'd like to go with him to pick out clothes, you know. I used to always give my kids money and let them go pick out some clothes. I wonder if Target has a rolling cart. I wonder. I'm going to the doctor anyway tomorrow. if I felt like I could go to Target and ride the rolling cart and let him pick out some clothes for his birthday, that would be special to me. I would enjoy that. No, he don't really care. I've asked him over and over, what do you want for your birthday? He's like, nothing. Don't worry about it. You got too much to worry about already. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get you something for your birthday, so I'd like it to be something you want or need. He finally did say, yeah, he could always use clothes. So, sounds like a good option. I'm just going to get water on this and spread it around. Then I'm going to have to dry it, and I'm going to have to put something on top of it to keep it from curling, you know, to flatten it back out. Because it's just poster board. It's not meant for watercolor. And it is damaging the paper a little bit with all this water. Put a little water here and then try to lift some of that because it's looking a little dark right there. Keep in mind, this is just the cover of my book. I'll be doing a lot of stuff inside the book. I'm going to blow dry this. Okay, so here's the basic page cover for my book, actually. And I'm going to be adding more to this. I got to work on the windows. I want to put a wreath on the door and work on the roof. I'll need some snow up there, maybe some snowflakes, maybe a bird or a squirrel or something like that. There's going to be more added to this, but I'm going to go ahead and start on working on my pages to go in the book and work on this along the way. I know a lot of people like make the cover of the book and then start making pages and put the book together, but I'm different. I have to do everything different from everybody else, so I'll be working on the cover of the book as I'm working on the book. So, yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing, and I thank you guys so much, so very much, for coming along with me and just watching me put paint on paper and smear it around. I appreciate you all so very much. I know there's so many YouTubers out there you could watch, and the fact that you clicked on my video to spend some of your precious time with me, it's just an honor, and I just really and truly just feel so blessed and honored to have you here. So anyway, I have some stencils. I'm just going to look through them and look, I'm tangled up. And look for different things that I want to put in my art journal. And then I'm just going to start putting these things on some water. I know I want to do a lot of trees. I'm just going to start putting stuff on some watercolor paper, and yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Just have fun and enjoy and not worry about precise art. I want it to look fun and whimsical and like somebody really enjoyed doing that. So that's my plan, and that's what it's going to be. But I do have a lot of trees and some people and just different, all kinds of fun stuff. I don't want to show it all just yet because I want some of it to be a surprise. So come back and hang out later. I'll see you in the next video, friends. Bye.